Right now, everyone is talking about the shooting in Austin, Texas during a Black Lives Matter protest.
In Austin, Texas, a protest and then gunfire as people run for cover. Police say a protester with a rifle was shot and killed by a man in a car driving through a crowd.
Suspect was detained and is cooperating with officers.
There are literally 10 sides to this story. Some people are saying Foster pointed the AK at the driver. Some are saying he didn't, even though this picture kind of looks like he's about to point his rifle. Some are saying the driver shot 3 times. Others say it was 5. Some are saying the driver accelerated when he saw the protesters. Some are saying he was just a regular person driving and got caught up in the protest. This video of him turning into the protest doesn't really tell us much, but you can try to infer a ton from it, but doesn't really tell us much. However, it has been 24 hours and already the mayor of Austin, Texas is using this tragedy to push for gun control.
What would you say about this, and what would you like to say regarding this tragic incident?
Start off as it's incredibly tragic. We have a protester that ended up getting killed, and that's horrific. I am taken by the fact that in that split moment, in that second, we had 3 different guns that were at play. We had 8 shots, and we have too many guns, and we have to do better. I think, just generally speaking, as a society, in taking guns off the streets like this.
Too many people think because of the recent rise in new gun owners that we've somehow won the gun debate. I assure you, we have not. A lot of people in this country may have bought a gun for the first time, but we are still in the minority. This is a mayor of a city in one of the most pro-gun states in the country, and he's basically saying we need to take people's guns. We are not even talking about criminals here. Everyone in this situation had a legal right to have the gun they had. Granted, Foster was a little extra with it.
AK-47.
What you got it out tonight?
They don't let us march in the streets anymore, so got to practice some of our rights.
Well, man, do you feel like you'll need to use it?
Nah, I think if I use it against the cops, I'm dead. And I think all the people that hate us and, want to say shit to us are too big of pussies to stop and actually do anything about it. So
why'd you start carrying?
But this gun was legal. The guy in the car had a concealed carry license. And even if he didn't have one, in Texas, you can keep a gun in your car without a license because your car is considered an extension of your home. The guy who fired at the car as it drove away also had a concealed carry license. Yet and still, the anti-gun mayor of Austin, Texas didn't say we need to keep guns out of the hands of criminals. He didn't say let's all try to be responsible gun owners. He said there are too many guns and we need to get them off the streets. You can't get any more anti-gun than saying we need to take guns away from people who are not criminals. Everyone here was a legal gun owner. So the mayor saying we need to get guns off of the streets means even if you're not a criminal, he doesn't think you should have a gun. Trust and believe, as long as these protests and riots continue, something like this will happen again because there are a lot of stupid people in some of these protests, and there are a lot of stupid people who encounter these protests. But I, for one, am not willing to give up my rights because we live in a world with stupid people, with stupid leaders of major cities continuing to enable stupidity just so they can leverage tragedy to push for more gun control. And there will always be a population of people who are willing to trade away their freedom for the illusion of security. And that's who these anti-gun politicians are trying to appeal to. And there are a ton of people like this. This isn't a gun issue. It's a decision-making issue. Sometimes being smart is better than being right. Like I said, there are 10 different sides to this incident, but from what we do know, Garrett Foster approached a car that was being aggressively surrounded with an AK-47. I'll admit, it can be terrifying seeing a car flying in your direction when you're walking down the street. The same way it's terrifying having your car surrounded by a ton of people who are yelling, screaming, and hitting your car, and then also seeing a man approaching your car with an AK-47. I don't know why this driver decided to turn onto the street. Maybe he didn't realize that there were that many people on the street. Maybe he was angry about the protest and wanted to show them who's boss. Maybe he thought he could squeeze by and was wrong. Either way, I get it. Almost being hit by a car can be enraging. But folks, pick your battles. This is Texas, not Portland or Seattle. Everybody here has a gun. They didn't stop making guns when they made yours. Let's say he did drive into the crowd on purpose. There's nothing smart about continuing to put your body between a car that you believe just tried to hit you on purpose. Why are you running to the car that you believe is trying to run people over? I don't care how hard you pound on the hood, how ferociously you drop the F-bomb. If the driver decided to continue driving, you are not going to win that battle. What do you expect him to do now that his car is surrounded by a group of angry people? Sit in his car and wait to see what happens? We've seen what can happen to people whose cars are surrounded during a protest. They don't end well. Hell, I've been in a car and accidentally ran into a protest myself, and though it was a generally peaceful protest, I made an illegal U-turn and got the hell out of Dodge because there are always bad apples in a crowd, and with that many people, I don't know what can happen. I don't have a problem with people peacefully protesting, and I don't have a problem with people responsibly open carrying firearms during a protest. And in places like Texas, you have every right to, but understand that if you do, you should be holding yourself to a higher standard of decision-making skills and responsibility, because if you don't, things can get real bad for you real fast. And I'm talking about everyone in this situation with a gun, including the driver. So people, please, if you're gonna protest and carry a gun, be smart. If you're driving a car and you see a protest, be smart. Avoid direct conflict the best way you can when you see it, because I don't wanna see any more people die, and I don't wanna see any more people forced to kill someone in self-defense. Yes, there were guns involved in this case. The problem here wasn't that there were guns. The problem is the mayor didn't do his job, or this protest was illegal. If this was a sanctioned event, there should have been blocked off streets and paths where the protesters could march without having to worry about being hit by cars, thus preventing this whole thing from ever happening. Or if this was an unsanctioned protest, thus an illegal one, you can't be surprised about cars running into you on the street you're illegally marching on, thus creating the very situation that resulted in this man losing his life. Like many anti-gun politicians, Mayor Steve Adler has a history of using tragedy to undermine the Constitution and push his gun control confiscation initiative to take guns away from law-abiding citizens instead of getting to the root of the problem.
Assault rifles make it easier to kill people. There is no reason we should make it easier to kill people.
Right now, there's a culture war against the Second Amendment, which is why I need your help spreading our message to counter their message. You can help do this by leaving a comment, sharing this video, and clicking the bell and subscribe button. Let my voice be your voice, and let them know you want to keep America tactical, because the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed wasn't a suggestion, it was a directive. Also, if you're wondering where to purchase your AR-15s are essential, I will not comply. I am the militia. I lost all my guns in a boating accident, and your state-specific Keep America Tactical shirt, click the link next to my head or the link in the description section, or if you're watching this on a mobile device, tap the small triangle on the lower right-hand side of this video and click the link in the description.